Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 245 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media, and I'm going to pull the okey doke on you. You know, I got my Guardians cap, I got my City Connect jersey on. You're probably thinking Hedgey's going to show up, and you're going to have to turn the volume down. No. We've got his better-looking, way better teammate, Steven Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians. I thought maybe you were going to show support. You don't wear your jersey back to the hotel when you're on the road?
Yeah, no. I sleep in it and then I'll hang it up and let it be in the rafters for a little bit. No, I'm just hoodieing right after a little coffee run right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I always got to get the when we do these early in the morning, and this is 10 a.m. Kansas City time to let people know, what is the coffee of choice?
Just a black coffee. Nothing too crazy. I got into it during COVID, just black coffee for the effects, and now I think I just kind of ride with that. Me and my buddies over in Texas were doing Folgers for a little bit.
Folgers? Come on now.
Yeah.
What is this, the 70s? Nobody does Folgers.
That's what they said. I just got to have some coffee on hand.
Boy, oh boy. Interesting. Okay. Do you have a teammate that you go on a coffee run with?
Usually we'll do breakfast. It'll be like me, Tanner Bybee, Will Brennan, Tyler Freeman, David Fry. But for this thing, just like a solo coffee run. They got one in the hotel, which is really nice. But yeah, usually get breakfast with guys first day in.
Okay. Who's responsible for finding the best place in a city?
Will loves it. I mean, that guy's on Yelp. He's on the Apple Maps. He thumbs through it. That's like his it's a pride thing for sure. I'm sure he would have done this again this trip, but he's a Kansas City kid. So he's kissing the babies, signing autographs and everything. He's a little busy right now.
Yeah. What a bummer, too. Didn't he end up on the injured list yesterday, right, when he was going home?
Yeah. Tough time. We were giving him a hard time, like, oh, yeah, IL, so you could spend more time with your family. He didn't laugh at that. He didn't think that was as funny as we thought. But, yeah, he gets to – it's kind of a bummer, but hopefully it'll be a short thing.
I know you're a Northern California kid, so when you go to Oakland, like you open the year there, do you go how close did you grow up to, say, Oakland?
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes right on the highway down there. I'll usually go home for that little short amount. We usually fly into SFO and then kind of a little journey to get from there to the hotel and then back home. But for that little road trip, I think we were there for 4 days. So that was nice, just shuttling up and down the highway.
Do you go back to your childhood home? And if so, would you ever sleep in your childhood bed during a show road trip?
Oh, yes, absolutely. 100%. I don't know, something about just being home. You don't get that very often. The showtels are definitely a privilege, but I don't know, something about being home and just kind of having like a nice little breakfast with my parents, getting coffee with the boys after. That's definitely a nice little privilege.
So you have, are your parents still in the same home that you grew up in?
Yep. Holding it down.
Like, the room is the same, the whole bit, like all the trophies are still there.
Yeah, my girlfriend teases me because it's like to a T still from when I was like 10 years old. I have all of, like the soapbox derby trophies, my like Cub Scout little pins. It's all still there.
Little Stevie Kwan, I imagine you were the best Cub Scout ever, weren't you? Scout's honor.
Yes, I tried. I definitely tried. I guess this is my coming clean, but when we had our little soapbox derby thing, my dad did the whole thing. I tried to do my own thing, and he was like, no, the other kids are doing the same thing. Like, we're gonna work on it together kind of thing.
And did you win?
No. Oh God, no.
Oh,
no,
God.
it was the other kids had, I don't know. It was crazy. They had these little like wheel lubricant things that like me and my dad had no idea about. And these things were just like shooting through, and we thought we were cheating, and we were miles behind. It wasn't even close.
What is the bet? If we were to take a tour of Steven Kwan's childhood bedroom, what is the best thing? Is there a piece of memorabilia? Is there a poster of somebody on the wall? What is there in that room where you're like, yeah, I want to show you this?
I think there's probably two. One, I have like this like manga comic book collection, which is like Japanese comic book basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was super into those, and now they're like in order. I got like my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, Dragon Ball. That's kind of like obsessively like in order. But I think the coolest one was my sister, I guess, just had like a creative spark one day, and she did like these like Sports Illustrated cutouts, and she would just like collage them over each other. And I have like Ichiro up, like Jay Bruce, Moises Alou, like kind of from like that 2006 era. And there's just like these old baseball players, which like at the time I didn't really know about. And then as I got older, I'm like, wow, this is like a really cool thing. And we just never took it down. So shout out shout out my sister for that one.
That's awesome. Good for is she an artist?
No, she was just in high school. She
Oh,
just
okay.
thought it was she just thought it was really cool, and we spent a couple hours on it, and she it was really cool.
So you're a Giants guy, right? Growing up.
Yeah. Yep.
So last year, I think, was the first time you had a chance to play in that stadium, correct?
Yeah, awesome. Unbelievable.
So do you remember walking to the plate for the first time? Did you have to take a deep breath and like remember where you sat when you were watching those great Giants teams that won it all in 10, 12, and 14?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was kind of corny, but I sought out the seat that me and my dad would sit at when we would do it, and it was super fun. Right along the first base line. It was just surreal. It was definitely surreal. Had all my buddies there. It was crazy. Video, yes, that's cool.
Does it give you goosies, as J-Lo
Absolutely.
likes to say?
Yes, yes, 100%. It still doesn't even feel real. I mean, this whole journey doesn't feel real, but that was one of them where like it felt like kind of full circle, where it was like, oh my gosh, like I'm playing at AT&T. I mean, I think what is it, Oracle now? I think to me it'll always be AT&T.
So why doesn't it feel real?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like got really lucky and things just had to go the right way for all of these things to kind of come together. But I don't know, like you have this little dream when you're a kid, and then to actually like go all the way, live it, and then like succeed there, like I don't know. It just feels like I feel very grateful that I'm in this opportunity. But like a lot of people don't get to dream something as a 5-year-old and then like go out and live it.
So we all dreamt of being a major leaguer when we were 5. I knew at like age 10 that wasn't going to happen for me. You were always a small kid. You're a 5'9", 170-pound major leaguer right now. At what point did you go, oh my God, I got a shot at this?
I mean, probably in like 2021. I got drafted in 2018, and it was really like, let's see how far we can do this. Like, I think because of my mom, I'm like a hyper realist, kind of a hedger with all the kind of things. And it was like, you know, the odds are against me statistically. Like any person getting drafted probably doesn't make it to the big leagues. Like, let's just see how far we can ride this out. And then just kind of kept going up another level, like high A to double A. And then like even in double A, I was kind of still not so sure. And then I think in triple A, I find I had a little bit of success. And I was like, Cleveland's kind of scuffling right now. Like maybe they need an outfielder. Like maybe this is a chance. Didn't want to think about it too much, but yeah, like that. Going into 21, into 22, I think was kind of like, maybe let me indulge in this fantasy a little bit more.
So at that time, were you thinking about another career while you were still in the minor leagues, or were you squarely still focused on baseball and being that close to the dream?
Yeah, it was pretty irresponsible. I was not thinking about a plan B, even when things like weren't so cut and clear. But I was a firm believer, like if you start thinking about plan B, then plan A starts fading out of your vision. So I definitely thought of like what I would do next, but I think I was more of a cross that bridge when I get there. But no, no backup plan.
That's okay. I wanted you to be square. I thought for sure you were going to be like, yeah, I already had my next thought in line, and if it didn't work out, I'm proud of you that you were that laser focused. That's good.
Yeah, laser focused or lazy, maybe delusional, but
I don't think
in
so.
that same strand.
I think it's worked out nicely. So you broke with the team in 22, and I remember it well. First of all, it was in Kansas City. I think you made your major league debut. I know this because I was celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary with my wife. We were in Cabo, and I'm just going to tell you, I snuck away for the games. Like I would go watch them on my phone, and I was like, I got to watch this kid, Steven Kwan. You know who really turned me on to you was Lucas Giolito. He is
really?
he is a regular contributor here on the Rose rotation, and he brought you up because we were talking about, I don't think the Guardians are going to be great this year. I don't know much about the lineup. He's like, I'm telling you about this kid, Steven Kwan. Like, you don't know enough about him. Keep your eye on him. So in 22, when you get, did Tito tell you broke with the team or what?
Yeah, he kind of was like messing around with me. I think he tried to do a little bit, but I was like sweating at every pore possible. So he kind of like shut it down. He was like, hey, like you made the team, by the way. But yeah, Tito was one who broke the news to me, like second to last day of spring training.
Did you cry?
No, I was just so shocked. Like I couldn't believe it. Called my parents instantly, but I didn't know. I just didn't know what to like feel in that moment. It felt so validating, but Again, it's just one of those things. It's like you can't even put it into words. It's just like it's so hard to put it into words and put it in pictures.
When you tell your parent, like you've met Brady, our youngest son. I got emotional when he would play baseball in high school. Like I loved every bit of it. I can't imagine what ran through your parents' veins when you told them I'm a major leaguer.
Yeah, no, they were thrilled. It's really funny. My dad. So I try not to indulge in like social media stuff, Twitter, all that, or whatever, X. But I told my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, like I knew you were gonna be one." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, like the Twitter boards are all like lighting up about you. Like people thought that you were gonna get like the call whatever days ago." I'm like, "Dad, like you got to stop looking into that." And he's like, "Oh no, I knew it." So they were obviously super excited, but they're like, "Oh yeah, like whatever handle said that you were gonna be like the last pick," and like we believed him. All right, cool.
So your parents are on social media and you shut it down.
I try to, but I mean, they're both retired. They obviously are both adults. It's more my dad, really, but he loves just kind of surfing on. And I mean, it's not just like baseball Twitter, like any topic that is fascinating to him, he just loves to like go in a rabbit hole of it. But yeah, he's active. Just a reader, though, not a poster.
What does he say about the year that his son is having?
I wish you knew my dad. I'm sure you'll meet him soon, but he just goes, pretty good couple weeks. Yeah, sure is. And then it's just like right there, and then he'll ask some like really obscure question from like the game where it was like, yeah, it's like you and Tyler like looked at each other one time on a fly ball. Like, what were you guys looking at each other for? I'm like, I don't know. To see who's going to catch the ball. Like, just, I don't know, just small things like that.
Did he happen to see his son living it up with Shaq Diesel DJ after a Guardians game in Cleveland recently?
I don't know if he did. We have our scheduled talk this week, today. So I'm sure that's going to come up. I don't know. I'm sure he saw it. I'm sure my mom will be the one to have some comments about it. My dad will probably just laugh, but I'm pretty sure I got caught on stage eating a beef patty. So I'm sure my mom's not going to be happy with that.
Oh, why's that?
She wants me to be a pro. She's always telling me my girlfriend as well. She's like, my hair's out of place, got some food in my teeth, and she just wants me to be a prim and proper. And yeah, me with like little flakes of beef patty on my mouth probably wasn't the best look.
Yo, bro, you were just partying it up with Shaq while he was spinning. Like, you're okay. You can have some beef patty on your grill and all that sort of stuff. What was that? I mean, that had to be one of the most out of body experiences you've ever had.
It was a little overwhelming because I think at first we were like, oh, like it's Shaq Diesel. This is cool. Like this is gonna be more novel than anything. Like it's a big guy, you know, spinning tracks. Like we'll watch from the dugout and then like go home because like, we had an early day. And we go out there. We're like watching the dugout, and someone's like, hey, like you guys want to go on stage? And we're like, oh, I didn't even know we could do that. They're like, of course you can do that. Like let's go. So that group of people started going. I came a little later because I was doing my rehab. So I go in the dugout, see that like nobody's in the dugout with my beef patty. And I run backstage, run everything. And someone's like, Kwan, you got to get up on stage. I'm like, oh my God, like this is really happening. And then boom, just doing it. Like no planning. It was definitely a lot, but it was sick. We gave him the dap up and everything. His hand like enveloped my hand. It was sick. It was definitely dope.
So did you get a bro hug before it was over?
No, I was a little insecure. I can't lie. I was sweating, had the shower sweats, and those like big lights are just so hot. Yeah, so I was like, I'm not just going to soak this dude's tank top that he's got on right now. Like I was cool with the dap up, called it a day there. That's my mom. I hedged my performance.
For people, first of all, people look at Shaq and they're like, God, he's so big. But until you stand next to him, you're like, holy shit, you are the largest human being ever to walk the earth.
It's unbelievable. It's all proportional too. Like I gave him I was right next to him at like his chest barely. Like it's crazy. It's unbelievable. And his voice is booming, especially on the microphone. It was cool.
The first time I ever met him, I had just moved out to Los Angeles to work at Fox Sports Net. Think of it as FS1 today, the cable side of things. And my first day on the job, they're like, it's the day Staples Center opened for the Lakers. So I had to go get the post-game interviews with guys. So I talked to Phil Jackson. I talked to Kobe Bryant. I talked to all these guys. And then Shaq comes over. So I stick out my hand. I go, Shaq, hi, my name's Chris Rose. And he goes, I know who you are, little man. I have DirecTV. So I was like, okay, great. Right. This will be nice. This will be nice.
Yeah.
But,
Wow, that was a good little impression too. Yeah, booming voice, crazy.
Right. One of a kind.
Attention, attention. It's the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. Bases full. Down 3. The crowd on their feet. The drama of baseball is real, and so is all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook. From the first pitch to the final out, DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code ROSE, and new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code ROSE only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
So now you are having this fantastic year. I know you don't like to talk about it, but one part of it is that the All-Star Game's a couple weeks away, and you have made the final voting in the American League. There's no way to run away from that, and you shouldn't. You should embrace it. I think it's really well-earned and rewarding experience for you. If you make the All-Star team, how important is it to you?
Yeah, I think it'd be huge. It'd be a huge validation, just kind of like proving to myself that I have enough talent to stay in this league. Just all the hard work that I put in, all this, literally my whole life has come to fruition. It'd be really cool. Especially kind of coming back from the injury this year. I thought when I missed that month in May, like I had a good April start. And then when the injury came, I was like, oh, well, there comes the chances of that. Just validating all of that, like hard work with the rehab guys, the training staff. Like, I think that'll all be really special if that comes to fruition.
You just said, if I can stay in the league, is that what drives you? Like, you're here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I write that in my journal every day, like 3 affirmations. The first one is like, I'm talented enough to stay in this league. I think especially like last year with our team not doing very well and like myself not having a year that I was really happy with. It was imposter syndrome again, but really going back on like, I had a good year. Am I still here because of like projections or like past success? Like, is the player I am today good enough to be in the league? And I think that's definitely a motivation where it's like, I can't sit on yesterday's laurels. Like, I have to go out and get, new achievements, like help the team win every single day. Like, if it's not on the baseball field, be a good teammate. But like, I think those things are I'm hyper aware of those kind of things. Cause I mean, as you know, this league is deadly. I mean, you slip up for a little bit and then anything could happen.
Well, everybody I've ever talked to, whether it's Hedgey on a regular basis, coaches, managers, people behind the scene have said, you have this incredible ability to wash things away and be the same exact person, which is something that a lot of people in this game, it will eat them alive if you're not. When did you learn that ability?
It's funny that you mentioned Hedgey. I think that first year in 22, he took me under his wing with a bunch of those kind of things. And I remember we were just chatting one day in like one of the hotel rooms, and I just like asked him like, oh, who was like one of your favorite teammates? And he was like naming off a couple, and he was like, no, like one of the guys that I really liked was Hunter Renfroe. And I'm like thinking like, oh yeah, that guy hit bombs. He's like, it wasn't about hitting the bombs. It was like, no matter what happened that day, like the next day he's the same person, like good teammate, good person, like, cracking jokes, like same guy. Like those are the guys that you remember. Like you're not going to remember people who hit 40 plus homers with whatever RBIs, ex-WOBA, all this kind of stuff. It's like, you appreciate the guys who like show up day in and day out with the same energy. Like maybe you're not having a good day, but like you can rely on this guy to like bring the team up or at least like crack a joke. And I think hearing that, I was like, that's the kind of guy I want to be. And that's something controllable. The baseball stuff is, semi-controllable, but really not. But my energy showing up to the field every day, I think is controllable. And you can either be an energy leech or, give off energy. And I want to be the guy that kind of just like radiates energy.
It's interesting because I end up I am on X a lot, obviously because of my business. And there are certain fans that don't understand the role a guy like Hedgey plays on a team. They say, oh, well, why are we paying $4 million to hit $170? Like, what is that? And I say, you don't understand the sport if you don't understand the role that he plays. For people that may be confused and just strictly see numbers, what does a guy like that mean to the Cleveland Guardians?
Yeah, I mean, I could go off on a complete tangent with that. I think the most recent one that like jumps out in my mind is like, we have a long inning on defense. We have a couple pitching changes, whatever. The people in the field are going to be tired. And then we kind of go in the dugout. we're going to go up to a bat. And then Hedgey's voice is just booming in the dugout. Like, here we go. Like, answer back. Like, need this. Like, it's so easy and it's so infectious when the dugout's just dead. And like, there's no talk and there's like the like fake, like, all right, guys, like, here we go. Like, yeah, shake that off. It's like Hedgey is like obnoxiously loud to the point where it's like, you can't ignore it. He's clapping in everybody's faces. He's like throwing stuff. He's just acting a fool. And it's like, I think I say a lot where it's Hedgey is always like the loudest person in the room and saying the dumbest thing. So people can say something dumb and it won't be the dumbest thing anybody said that day. Like people can be their like true selves and break out of their shell just because he's who he is. And like he told me those years ago, like he's the same person every day. Like I know he wants to play every day. He's a baseball player. He's a competitor and he understands his role. And through that, he's still the same guy in 22 than he is now.
Well, if he ever has to go to arbitration again, I know he's well past it. If one of the categories is Red Bull slammed before game, then he might get 20 to 25 million a year. Do you just shake your head when you see him do this?
I do. I mean, again, it's like those kind of things. It's just, it fires me up because it's a routine. He does it every single day. He's in the same spot. He does the same mannerisms. He's got the same scissors. He puts in the same spot every day. It gets the boys fired up. But you kind of have to watch where he's throwing it. I don't know if this is going to be in the video. Yep. So he'll chuck it. He chucks it. That might have been me he hit that day. There was one day where he throws it at one of our coaches every day, and like I don't think he's actually trying to hit him, but like it's a fun spectacle. But I think one day he just had a little arm side and it smoked me in the neck. And it was funny because that was the day after we were giving him some shit just because I hit that base hit up the middle. He gets thrown out at second, and everybody's like, "Oh, like you ruined the hit streak." And so the next day he throws it and it hits me, and everybody's like, "Damn, Hedgey, like what else are you gonna take from this man? Like you almost slice his neck open." And it was funny stuff like that. But he does it every single day, and I don't know how his heart is regular with that kind of caffeine, but he does it.
By the way, speaking of the hit streak that went awry when you did actually get a base hit up the middle, for people that don't know, the Toronto shortstop kind of got a glove on it. Hedgey thought that he had caught it in the air and probably was heading back to first. Back was turned. And we all know he's not the fastest guy, so he got thrown out at second on a force play from center field. Did he apologize to you? Because I was motherfucking him when I watched it.
Yeah, no, he, I think during the game, he wasn't really sure about it, but like the next day, he like walked with his head down and like gave me a hug, and he was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." And like, obviously, like I'm aware of it, but like, I really didn't care that much. Like I had 3 other opportunities to get a hit. Like it's not his fault. But I was like, oh yeah, like it is what it is, man. He's like, dude, I totally forgot. Like in the game, didn't think about it, and then I got home and my DMs, that's all people were talking about. And I was like, dude, that's so dumb. Like I'm so sorry. But I mean, I told him, and I was like, I don't care. And like I haven't told him this part, but like I think it's actually like a blessing in disguise because as the hit streak keeps climbing, it's like every game you can't help but think like, okay, like I got to extend it today. Like I got to extend it another one. And then like now you're not thinking about the game. You're not thinking about the spot. You're thinking about getting your hit. So it's like with it breaking there, like now I kind of have a clean slate, and whether or not whatever happens, like I can just reset and just play a normal game.
Okay. This will be the last thing we talk about, Hedgey. He really wants you to get to Arlington for that All-Star game. Once again, you are one of the top outfielder vote getter. So you're in the final group. Judge has already, punched his ticket there. I think there's 5 other guys for the 2 spots. So Hedgey came out with this ad via the Guardians.
Well, the only thing better than this outfit I'm wearing right now is Jose Ramirez at baseball. Okay? It's the heart and soul of our team. He deserves a start in the All-Star game. You like someone who covers more ground than these chaps cover my butt? That's Steven Kwan for you, starting left fielder, 2024 All-Star game.
I mean, the media team was talking about that, but then seeing that actually happen, I couldn't believe it. I think it's awesome that like he leaned into it and he was all about it. But I mean, that's for the people back home. That's a special person. That's the heart and soul of the Cleveland Guardians right there.
Be honest. Do we think that is going to help or hinder your chances?
I'm a firm believer in all publicity is good publicity. Whether or not it's right or not, people are talking about it. So I think it definitely helps. So I appreciate him on that.
Well, you kind of have our show to blame for the assless chaps, because when he was a Ranger last year, when he got traded there, I said, we did a show in the playoffs. I said, if you guys win it all and you have a parade, go wear a pair of assless chaps with a cowboy hat and some cowboy boots. And he goes, absolutely. Didn't do it. We talked in the off season. I said, what happened, bro? He goes, Mama Hedges put the kibosh on it. I said, he goes, but I still have them. I said, okay. So then this social media comes out. My guy, Courtberry Tripp, sends it to me. I think Curtis sent it to me. Yeah. All the guys in the front office there. And I was like, damn, you've got to be kidding me. So there's Hedgey's hairy ass for the entire all-star voting public to see.
And that's a hairy ass. That's no kidding. That is not a smooth butt. That is a hairy man.
He probably loved every second of it, didn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, I think he just tries to show as much of his body as possible. I don't know if people have seen it, but like he's got like for warm-ups, he has this little like crew cut thing where his belly's showing. He slimmed down a little bit, so I think he's just trying to show off all the new bod, but that's a hairy belly button too. He's just a hairy man. Just a hairy man.
I think we should dip him in a vat of Nair and just clean him off.
Oh, he would hate that. I would love that, but God, he would hate that. He would go down kicking and screaming, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. You've played with another pretty good catcher in your college days in Adley Rutschman, and you guys were just in Baltimore. I know he only caught, I think, one of the 3 games. He DH'd a couple. So does he still stay high and want to give you like a big old hug when you come up to the dish?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that guy. He hasn't changed since college, which I appreciate. I know this life and everything kind of like people deal with different things, but I mean, he's one of those guys that are just so simple day to day, loves baseball, loves life. We got breakfast the last day and we caught up a bunch, but yeah, you can't help but kind of look at each other when we're at the plate. But God, these last couple of years, I tell him that it's the worst feeling when like a pitcher is pitching and then there's like a ball that you know is off the plate and you look back and Adley's just like sticking it, like not even looking. And umpires love him especially as well because he's so respectful and everything. But like he always gets those calls, and I'm like, I hate when you catch, man. Like DH day is great, but when you catch, like I probably overthink it too because like I know him so well and like pitch sequence stuff, but I never hit very well when he's catching. So it's always fun seeing him, but gosh, he is a pain behind the plate and at the plate as well.
He was a guest on the Rose Rotation. Do you have any good Rutschman stories from Corvallis? What do you got?
I mean, several. I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard the McCaffrey story of him tackling McCaffrey. Yeah, that's the classic one. I don't know if he'll tell you he has the Oregon State high school record for longest field goal, or maybe that's public knowledge as well.
I think 63 yards. Something like that, or 57. Yeah, he told us that. He told us that he went out on Halloween one time dressed as a Power Ranger. You know this story? Oh, man, I almost got a coffee snort.
I do. So, I mean, Halloween was always just chaotic. I will admit, I don't remember a lot because my own Halloween experience was quite hazy, but I remember him and his roommates went out as the Power Rangers, and, I mean, they had the mask on and everything. They were in formation the whole time. Like, they played into it unbelievably. That was a really fun one. I wish I could give you a better story on that. But, yeah, I was Toad from Mario Party, and I had a different kind of night that involved just chaos. But I don't want to incriminate Rutsch too much, but we definitely had fun. He had a lot of fun, especially him being a very good-looking guy in Corvallis. I mean, that definitely helps.
He told us that he, in full Power Ranger regalia, kicked like a 50-yard field goal while they were out partying. So
yeah, kid's a freak.
I've got a whole list from your media guide at Oregon State. You enjoyed dodgeball, wiffle ball, and snowboarding in your spare time. Is that accurate, or did you just have to fill something out?
It's kind of accurate, but I kind of needed to fill it out. The dodgeball part, my brother was part of like this like intramural league, and he would bring me along, and that world of dodgeball is fascinating, by the way. Like people like ball control, ball possession. Like there was a guy throwing like backhanded so you couldn't see where it's like that was fascinating. I actually really enjoyed that. Wiffle ball was with my best friends from back home. We got like this like aluminum sheet and like nailed it to like this wooden post, like really like how like the blitzball stuff is, but like just way back then. We would tape up the balls and just rip it. Like I truly think my like vision of baseball has helped because of that when we were in high school. And then like I've been snowboarding like 4 or 5 times and it's fun, but haven't been back since. So long way to say yes. I kind of just filled in the blanks with that one.
So do you watch our Blitzball stuff that we do at John Boy Media?
I see the clips. I see a lot of the clips, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of guys that are like, I want to play Blitzball with you guys up in that warehouse. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah. Well, you can start watching it this weekend on Bally's. We're making our big debut.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Bally's picked up all our warehouse game stuff. So we're going to have Blitzball. We're going to have our floorball out there, our ball and play league, which is a combination of Blitzball and cricket. So you're going to have, don't worry, you're going to have it all. Floorball. Floorball's like hockey without the skates. You're running. You probably played it in elementary school as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you were much of a hockey guy up there, if you were a Sharks dude or not.
No. I went to my first hockey game in AAA, watching the what is it?
Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, it was like Blue Jackets versus the Buffalo Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is crazy. This is so fun. And someone was like, these are probably the two worst teams in the whole NHL. I was like, okay, never mind. But so, I mean, enjoy it.
Giants, Niners.
Yeah, not a huge football guy since I never played. My mom kind of cut that out. I mean, really just, Giants, big Warriors fan, obviously spoiled during their whole run. I know that'll probably be sickening to a lot of people, but I do love my Warriors.
Yeah, I know. Well, Vogt's the same way. He's a Northern California guy, and like first day on the job, they're like, "Well, you're from San Francisco." He's like, "Yeah, go Warriors." Everybody's like, "Really? You got to go do that?" Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Why has he been so successful replacing a future Hall of Famer?
I think just feel. I think tremendous feel. That's like the best way I could describe it. He lets everybody kind of do their job, like players and coaches. Like he doesn't dip his fingers too much in a lot of things. I think that's like the scariest thing when there's a new manager, especially trying to like impress front office and players. It's like he wants to maybe do too much. I feel like I've seen that with some other teams. But like day one, it's literally just like, hey, like you guys are the professionals, go out and play. And I mean, he could have dipped his fingers and he played 2 years ago. Like he's still very fresh in the game, but he gets it. I remember there was like long story short, there was like, we had a really short stretch of like not playing well, and he called a team meeting and we thought he was hitting panic mode. Like we were going to like change everything, new meetings and everything. And he comes in to like congratulate Hedges on 8 years. Like that's just the kind of stuff. Like he played into like people thinking it was gonna be panic button, and then we celebrated Hedges. So that was really cool.
That is good. Yeah. I first of all, you guys haven't given him much reason to be upset so far, right? The run you guys have been on through the first half of the season has been remarkable. The way you play is fun. Has he gotten pissed off yet? Because he says everything right. I listen to every post-game press conference. Even on days where he goes, yeah, we weren't great today, but I really appreciate Logan Allen giving us 5 innings instead of 3. Like, that's a big deal. Like, he turns it, and he understands how to use the media to make sure the message is out there that he's not pissed off. So does he get a little mad behind the scenes or not?
I don't think behind the scenes. I think the frustrations sometimes he gets are from like umpire calls that like maybe he wasn't like super familiar on like the rules or like what like protocol to go with. He'll definitely be vocal with the staff about like what we're doing in certain situations. But I mean, not really. Like there was a spot in the Baltimore series where I thought maybe he was going to get tossed for his first one. But I think he said his piece and walked away, and I think that speaks more to his relationship with the umpires throughout the whole league. Like he knows all of them. Like I'm trying to be a pro and learn all the umpires like by face, but sometimes like I just don't remember their names. And I'll look at Vogt and he'll just tell me the name instantly. Like that kind of professionalism has obviously followed him to the manager job, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, he's one of my dudes. He's one of my favorite guys. We know you're a big chess player. I saw you playing against Sean Manaea of the Mets earlier this year when you had a series in Cleveland. You don't have to come out and say it, but I heard you waxed his ass. Is this true? No,
not a waxing. That's a fabrication for sure. But I definitely got him a couple games. It was just very intimidating how he came to do it. I was taking reps in left field because I was just coming off of I was still rehabbing, but I was taking reps in left field. You know, we have that like high wall in left field, and I just hear some guy yell like, "Hey, Kwan!" And I look up, it's just Sean Manaea asking me, and he's like, "Hey, heard you play chess?" I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "We should play sometime." I was like, "Okay." And then I remember asking, I'm like, "Oh, do you have like a chess.com thing?" Because like people usually play online. He was like, no, I just play in person. Like, I'll send you a message later. I was like, okay, well, I'm intimidated now. I'm terrified. And he sends this whole like written letter to me from the clubhouse to clubhouse, and I'm like showing it to like Hedgey and all the guys. I'm like, yo, like, is this guy gonna challenge me and then like beat my ass? Like, this is gonna be the most embarrassing thing ever. Like, do I decline? Like, do I have to? Like, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was cool. We went out there. I asked for some reinforcements. I asked for like Will Brennan and Bo Naylor to like accompany me. And they're like, no, man, like, that's your thing. Like, you go get him. I'm like, no, I want you guys. Like, I'm nervous. It's Sean Manaea. They're like, oh, we'll come in later. And then I walk up and it's like Sean Manaea, Pete Alonso, Diekman, like all these guys like waiting for me. I'm like, I knew I needed some backup. Like, they're going to eat me alive. So that was fun. They did end up coming and it was a cool little thing, but that was a fun little exchange.
Can you talk shit when playing chess?
Yeah. And it probably affects the game more than people think, but I've been humbled so many times talking shit where it's like, I'll say something and then someone will take it and like take a piece. And it's like, well, I'm just a huge jackass. Like, I think chess is a big psychological test more than, or just as much as a mental test.
So who do you play against?
I usually play online. That's like the best competition I can get. Like in the locker room, like Hedgey's actually getting really, really good. And like before it was like a hobby for him, but now he just grinds it. And he's getting pretty close to being at like the same rating as me, but we play really competitive games. T-Mac, Bo, Bobby will play sometimes. My biggest rival, who's no longer my rival, is Will Benson. We're the ones who like, we came up together. We started playing chess together. We used to be the same skill rating, and now he's unbelievable. He would play with like Votto every day, and now he's gotten so good. So I was like talking to him. I want to get like an underground like chess rink going on, but he would probably be the best in the league. I would put my money on that.
So, I mean, I've talked to Votto about it. Happy to hear about Will Benson. He's one of my favorites. Do we know of other guys around the league? Like, do you hear people talking like that guy's really good?
I heard Simeon is pretty good. And I know him like very service level just because like Bay Area guy and like PA stuff. But he seems like a very humble guy. And then like I remember watching an interview and they were like, what's a hobby that people might not know about you? And then he was like, I'm really good at chess. And I'm like, oh, that was powerful. Like it's not like I play chess. He's like, I'm pretty good at chess. Like, I think that kind of guy saying he's good, like, I actually believe that, as opposed to like someone who isn't. He's like, oh, I'm nasty at chess. It's like, no, you probably suck. But like, I feel like he's pretty good. I haven't really heard. I heard Machado plays, but I don't know about too many others.
See, what you have to do against guys like Simeon, and if Machado plays, you have to start playing them for money. You haven't even hit your arbitration years, and those guys are bringing in 30+ mil a season. So let's make it worth your time, Stephen.
I mean, I'll play for it just for the love. I'm sure what my amount would not be anything with them, but I don't know if you've ever played chess, but losing a game where you sit down for like 20 minutes and then you lose is like the most demoralizing feeling ever. Like that on top of some money, I think would like put me in a dark place for like half an hour.
I know what you'd be writing about in your journal.
Yes. I mean, I would write about that regardless. That'd be cool.
I got 3 other things, and I'll let you go be Steven Kwan. I really appreciate your time today. This has been an awesome conversation. I love the Mario jump that you guys do on all the extra base hits. I love it, especially when guys are rounding the bases after home runs, because they really get into it. I want to know who's the best at it and who needs the most training, needs to go back to like Mario camp to learn.
Yeah. So Gabriel Ayres is kind of the one that started it, and it was kind of like it's the Mario jump, but it's kind of like an inside joke. I guess that was a really poor showing, but he was kind of the one who originated it. So like, he's definitely a good one. I don't know. I know Schneeman's new, but he definitely needs some help on it. Like he definitely like is checking a box when he does that. Like he doesn't want to do that. And I think he sees everybody. He's like, oh my God, I got to do it. And rips one of those. But yeah, he had like a home run and it was right here and like no separation. But just knowing Schneeman, I know he was just overwhelmed with the situation, but I would say him.
I got to tell you, because I know Hosey loves the Mario Kart. I mean, that's been his game for a decade now. Mm-hmm. He actually seems to get into it when he's trotting around the bases. Like, you would think he's too cool for it, but I think he's in.
100%. No, I think that's what kind of solidified that being our celebration. Because again, like it was like an inside joke, and it was like something between like a couple of guys, and then he hits a huge home run, and he ripped one, and we're like, oh my god, he loves it, and then we just went crazy with it. But I mean, yeah, he just loves hitting homers. He'll do whatever.
What is it? Do you have a great Hosey story that you can share? I mean, everybody knows that he's one of the most underrated players in the game and all that, and he grinds and he runs his ass off and runs like he's a ghost on the bases sometimes. But do you have one moment where you're like, this is what makes Hosey Hosey?
I mean, you're talking about Mario Kart. I think a story with that one kind of jumps out, but I mean, I know people, I'm sure people know that he loves Mario Kart, but he is so good. It's unbelievable. Like, waits to like holds on to like the thunder item just to like when you get to a corner and you take it too long, he'll use it, and then you fly off, you're done on the game. Like starts certain maps like later because he knows like the item boxes are like in his advantage if he's in 8th place as opposed to like 2nd place. Like his game theory with that stuff is unbelievable. Hits certain jumps like for shortcuts, never misses them. Like the guy loves his craft. He's unbelievable at baseball, but like when he decides he wants to do something and do it well, it's like you can see why he's so good.
He loves his craft. That's pretty amazing. I read a great article on you in The Athletic about how you felt like pinball really helped you as a kid with your baseball skills a little bit. I was an avid pinball player. I sucked at baseball, so I need to hear why you think this helped you.
Yeah, I will say, I think that's like a narrative that's kind of like taken off, but I guess there's been like studies where like hand-eye coordination and like pinball playing has actually like shown some correlation. My parents just love pinball. So like, I think they would go on pinball dates. And then as I got a little older, they would take me and I would just kind of like play the games with them. But they said I like was holding my own, when playing. And then I had one at my grandma's house that like, because there's nothing else to do there, I would just grind that out. I don't know. I think it's easy to say that there could be a correlation, but I could see it. It definitely took up a good amount of my time when I was a kid.
So what was the game at grandma's? I had a Space Invaders pinball machine.
Oh, that might have been. Was yours like a cheap one, or was it like a really really nice one?
No, it was like my parents. They spoiled me, and when it came to pinball, yeah, it was nice.
See, I had a they got me a plastic one, and I just don't know what it is. It's like space themed, but like there was like a little spinner at the top. There was like, it really wasn't anything special, but like I knew all the ins and outs of it. I don't think it had a theme. I think it was literally just like outer space, but yeah, that was a cool one.
Because I would imagine, not that I barreled up a lot of hits in 8th grade. I did hit 314 with 5 doubles that year.
Oops.
So I didn't barrel a lot. But when you hit it on the sweet spot of the flipper, I imagine that's like going deep.
It's pretty close. Like the ball goes so fast, and the next thing you know, it's spinning around. There's definitely a dopamine hit when you hit that.
Okay, all right. Last thing here with the journal. Do you journal in the morning or night, or just does it depend?
I try to do it in the mornings, but I mean, I've kind of like gotten off the like hardcore regimen. Like I think if I can journal at some point every day, I'm really happy about that. This year was the first time I started journaling at the field as well, just to kind of compartmentalize like baseball in itself. Like get to the field, write some stuff down, day's over, write some stuff down, like quite literally close the book on the journal, and then like I'm no longer a baseball player. I think that's a big thing. But like in terms of like my regular journal, like I usually, like you said, try to grab a coffee or like after I get breakfast with the guys, journal for a little bit, read at least 10 pages, meditate, and then I feel comfortable going into the day.
Did I disrupt your journaling exploits today?
No. That's why I try to get it at a certain time. I got to do some of the stuff before that, so you're totally good.
God, I feel like I'm prying on your private life. Is there a possibility your 43 minutes on the Rose rotation will make it in journal?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Well, I will also say this is definitely a little fanboy time, but I remember watching you a ton on like MLB Network when I was like growing up through high school. So like, just like this could have been the worst interview ever, but to do it with Chris Rose is going to make it in the journal already. So that on top of it being a great interview, it's a good time.
You're a good man. I appreciate it. I've heard that from a lot of people. I don't take it lightly. Like the ending wasn't great at MLB. I was sad that I left. I'm really thankful that I've landed in a wonderful, wonderful place with John Boy Media, because it has been an incredible 3.5 years. But I do love hearing that from major leaguers. I don't take it lightly because a lot of you guys that are there now that I'm covering grew up on this show that had never been around before. So I do appreciate that a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, you were my summers. I'd have MLB Network up and I'd be playing my computer games with headphone off on the ear just so I could hear you guys. And if something was good enough, I'd look over, and then those were my summers. So trust me, this is awesome for me.
Millar said some whacked out shit, didn't he?
He sure did. He sure did. It was the balance, though. It was the yin yang.
Yeah, but now that you're in the show, you're like, what the hell was he talking about?
Yeah. All publicity is good publicity.
Once again, keep kicking ass, and hopefully I will see you in Arlington, Texas in the middle of July. We don't have to talk about exactly what that's about, but I would hope that happens. Yeah. So thank you so much for the time. Tell my boys I say hello. You guys have been crushing it. You've made it a very, very fun first few months for the entire Rose family. So thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. My boy Brady says hi. He still wears his Kwan jersey everywhere. I'm just letting you know. He wears it everywhere.
Yeah, so, tell him what's up.
I will. Yeah, as he's off to college now wearing his Steven Kwan jersey.
Going worldwide. That's crazy.
So for our guy Steven Kwan, for our amazing producer Robbie Scirocco, our summer intern Tommy Young, I am Chris Rose. We will see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.